Hello everyone, this is Colin here with another Homeowner's DIY. We're in the bathroom, and as you can see behind me, or maybe you can see behind me, there's a light fixture here, and the lights, which are newer LEDs, are actually flickering kind of erratically. We may not be able to see it depending on the frame rate of the camera, but they're flickering. Which is kind of annoying and probably doesn't do the LEDs any favors in terms of lifespan. The reason they're flickering is the wall switch here is old, about 2 or 3 decades, and has corrosion on it. So today we're going to replace those wall switches so those lights stop flickering. Let's get to it. Alright, to do this job you're going to need a few things. Strictly speaking, the whole job could be done with a small to medium-sized flat blade screwdriver, your replacement switch or switches, and a headlamp to see what you're doing while the light's out. However, it is much more useful to have a Phillips for undoing the wires. You also see me use a small flat blade screwdriver to undo the switch plate. I ran into some grounding issues, so I also used some 14 gauge copper wire to add some grounds, wire strippers, and a wire nut. For safety, if you have extra circuitry in the gang box or just want to double check things, a voltage tester is a nice thing to have and use for this job as well. Let's get started. Okay, first we're going to take our small flat blade screwdriver and remove the switch cover here. The next step involves some live electrical wiring, so we're going to go over to the breaker box and find the relevant circuit to turn off before we proceed. Okay, we're out here at the circuit breaker now, and obviously, as most of these things go, they're not very well labeled, so I'm going to take a guess as to which one is correct, and we'll go inside and see what happens. Okay, after some trial and error, and mostly error, I did in fact find the correct circuit that has supplies power to the bathroom here. As you can see, the light is on, fan is on, and they're not running. If you want to have a bit of additional safety, you can take your little circuit tester pen and run it up along the sides here and verify that none of your wires are hot, which certainly seems to be the case. So we're good here. Obviously, I think I need to replace this thing. It's giving some false positives. Anyway, so this is now safe to work on and handle without fear of being shocked. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew these switches now. Well, as often is the case, when doing projects, you run into some surprises. In this case, both the switches are not actually grounded. The grounding wires for the circuits are tied together, which is good, but neither of the switches are tied into that ground. So, in addition to replacing the switches, I'm going to go ahead and tie the new switch, the grounds on the new switches into that main. I'm not sure if that's 100% necessary, but it certainly isn't going to hurt anything. So let's get the swap done. When you're undoing these, make sure that you keep the top wire on top and the bottom wire on the bottom so you can connect them to the correct locations on the new switches. Okay, now I'm going to take the old wire nut off the set of grounds here and take these freshly stripped pieces of copper wire here and a larger wire nut and tie them in. And then the other ends I'll tie into the 2 grounds on the switches. Okay, now we take those 2 new grounds we just made and tie them into our 2 switches. Alright, now that our switches are all wired up, we can tuck our wiring back into the gang box here and screw the switches back in. Okay, now you can take your switch plate and put it back on. Okay, we're back in the bathroom. Let's test everything out. Looks like everything works. Well, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.